Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another review of the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 17, Season Finale, Altered State of Mind. So we start off with Karen and Ray. They're having a FaceTime meeting with their event planner because their vow renewal is going to be the very next day. So I guess they're putting together some last minute details. And we also find out here that her daughter, Raven, will not be able to attend the vow renewal because she's not feeling well. So moving on from that, there's a luncheon between Ashley and Michael and Juan and Robin. So the four of them get together, and I guess because, Michael, he refuses to film with anyone other than Ashley. So if he knows that Juan is going to be there, then he's definitely going to show up. So, because we all know that Michael has some type of serious, crush on Juan. He really, really enjoys Juan's company. Anytime that he sees Juan, I mean, his eyes literally light up. Like there's little light bulbs in his eyeballs, and the switch goes on and they light up every time Juan is in the same room with him. He doesn't even have this expression with Ashley, but whenever Juan is around, Michael is so happy. He's so giddy. He's so talkative. It's like a completely different Michael whenever he's around Juan. And in her confessional, even Robin was like, I just don't get it. I don't understand this friendship between them. Because you would think that Juan would be uncomfortable being around Michael because of, the rumors going around of the things that Michael had said he wanted to do sexually with Juan, and that all that stuff that happened in previous seasons. You would feel like maybe Juan would be a little bit wary of Michael, but no, Juan enjoys Michael's company almost as much as Michael enjoys Juan's. And it's crazy that these two, the connection that these two have, because you would never think that these two men would have anything in common. Also because there's like this huge age gap between them, and Juan is really young and vibrant. I don't know, maybe I don't know, I don't know, maybe I don't know. I guess Michael is young. He's young. He's young at heart, but yeah, they have this really serious, weird connection, and it works for them. So I guess it's got to work for us as well. And while they're there having this luncheon together, they're talking about the Dixons possibly having a third baby, and Robin had mentioned something about how if she were to have another child, she would want Juan to be more present because when she had the two boys, he really wasn't around that much. And Ashley had asked the question if it was because of his career. And I think he said no, it wasn't because of his career. So I'm not really sure why he wasn't around that much. But Robin said that she was the one that was doing all the feedings, all the diaper changes. I think she even said that Juan never changed one single diaper for either of the boys. I think that's what she said. And I think Juan was like, no, that's not true. I don't know, but that's what I think I heard. But the point is, he wasn't around. And before she pops out another baby, she needs him to be more present. And then they start, throwing shade at Candace and Chris, and, Michael talks about how much he dislikes them, and how rude they were to his wife, and he makes fun of the fact that Chris is on Candace's payroll, but then Candace is still on her mother's payroll. And in her confessional, Robin was like, and what's wrong with that? What's wrong if she pays her husband to manage her, and what's wrong if she's fortunate enough to have a mother who can financially help her out, right? Okay. So after that, Juan and Robin, they meet at Embellished, which is, I guess, the warehouse where where she packages and ships her hats, because she has her own business, her own online boutique, I guess, where I think it's hats primarily, but maybe she does other type of apparel. I don't know. And I'm trying to figure out whatever happened to the real estate thing. I would think that the real estate would be a more maybe the hats are better. I thought the real estate would be like a better business for her than the hats. But I don't know. We didn't see much of Robin flipping houses this season. There was like no mention of her doing this maybe I don't know. It seemed like she's not even doing the real estate anymore, but now she's all into Embellished and selling her hats and whatnot. And so while they're in the warehouse, they're having another discussion about possibly having a third baby, and she tells him again, if we're going to have a third baby, I need you to be more present. And then Juan just completely blew up. He was like, I'm not the same person. I've changed. I can't believe that you would even say something like that to me. And he storms out. He's gone. He's out of there. And Robin goes after him And now they're outside because I thought he was going to come back, but now they're actually outside. And he takes off his mic. He's like, take this effing mic off of me. He takes the mic off. He gives it to the producer. Robin is standing there completely confused and bewildered, like, what in the world just happened? He literally gets in his car and he's about to drive off. And then she goes up to the car and she's like, what is happening here? It's not that serious. Whatever I said, it's not that serious. And he says, you know what? I'm so sick and tired of you telling me, what I did and what I did, but we never talk about, the stuff that you failed to do, which I was like, what was that? What was really going on? Give us the tea. Juan, what was Robin not doing back in the day? I thought that was interesting. Oh, and I wish I knew why he wasn't around a lot when she had the kids. Was he chasing women? Was it the career? What was it? Like, why wasn't he around more when she had the babies? But evidently, Wanda's like, hey, I'm not that person anymore. Stop bringing that up. We're starting fresh. We're starting new. We're going to get married. We're building a home. Let's not bring this crap from the past all the time. You know that I'm not going to be that person to leave you alone with a new baby. And I guess Robin just needs some type of reassurance. Then we move on. Everybody's getting ready. I guess it's the day of the vow renewals. Everybody's getting ready, with the makeup and whatever, the hair and all of that. And as they're arriving at the venue, I see the outside of the venue, and I was a little bit underwhelmed by. I was like, "What is this? Where are you at, Karen? Why did you pick this place?" Because it looked a bit shopping center esque a little bit. It was very low budget looking from the outside, like any shopping center in America. And even Candace was like, what did she say about the venue? She said something she said something about it, how it looked really, low down and crazy. There was no red carpet. There was no decorations outside. There was nothing outside that would make you think that anything of any importance was going on inside. I was really surprised by that. So, anyways, and then they had these like really tacky red velvet ropes, that they would normally have like at a major event. But usually the red velvet ropes would come with the red carpet, but there was no red carpet. But inside, it looked a whole lot better inside. I think they did a really good job in decorating, the inside part. It looked really nice inside. It was really impressive inside. So people start coming in. Wendy arrived, and when she came, she was sitting in the back seat, I guess, of their Uber or whatever, because she could not even. She wasn't even sitting in the back seat. This woman was laid out in the back seat because her dress was so incredibly tight. Her husband had to help her out. I mean, that dress was so tight she could barely walk in it. And then when she got inside the venue, she couldn't even sit down because the dress was so tight. She was afraid that the dress was going to rip if she sat down. And then the top part of the dress, because, she got her new boobies. So the top part of her dress was, I mean, she was just spilling out everywhere. And so she constantly had to, like, cover herself or hold her dress on top. And I wonder if that's like fun for people who get new boobs, to walk around like, oh my God, my boobs are about to fall out, because you never had that problem before. And now that you are a little bit more well endowed now, you think it's really cute to walk around constantly holding your top because your boobs are so big. But whatever, she was having fun with them. So they're all sitting at the table now, and Juan apologizes to Giselle about Jamal. He turns to her and he's like, I'm really sorry about what happened to Jamal. The whole Jamal thing to me from the very beginning was completely fake. I didn't believe it for a second that this was a real relationship. I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know if Robin felt like, I mean, not Robin. I don't know if Giselle felt like, she was about to get fired or something if she didn't have something going on in her own life on the show, because she's always meddling into other people's business and has no business of her own. And maybe she brought him on the show so that she could have some business and try to pretend that they were trying to get back together again. But the whole thing to me was completely fake. So when and then to me, Jamal was such a non-factor because I just dismissed it as being some fake stuff. So when Juan was like, oh, I'm really sorry about Jamal, I was like, what the hell happened? Did Jamal die? Like, did a family member? Like, what do you mean I apologize for Jamal? But I guess he was referring to their breakup. Which to me, there was no breakup because there was never a get together. The whole thing was fake to me. So I didn't understand where that was coming from. That took me by surprise. So she holds her purse up. So I guess, the cameras won't see, but I don't know if these people forget that they're mic'd. Does it matter if we see you or not? Because you're mic'd. We can hear everything you're saying. So she holds her bag up to cover her face from the cameras. And she tells him that She's seen somebody else now. She has a new boo in her life, and is a 34-year-old commentator. So in her confessional, the producer is asking her some questions about her new man, and she doesn't want to give any answers. She doesn't want to talk about it at all. But producer Norma kept on asking, well, does he work for CNN? Is he, has he ever been in the White House? Does he work for the White House or whatever? I don't know, whatever she was asking about the guy. And Giselle kept on saying, none of your business, Norma. None of your business. So she doesn't want to talk about. Again, she wants to keep her own life a complete secret, but she wants everyone else to expose all of their dirty laundry. So she can. Anyways, so then Juan is asking about Michael. He's like, where's my boy Michael? And I looked at Candace's face to see how she would react because, I'm pretty sure Candace wants everybody else to hate Ashley and Michael as much as she does, but Juan loves Michael. He loves him some Michael. So he was looking for his boy, and his boy wasn't there yet. And I think Ashley has said that he was going to be coming in later. Then they talk about rings because somebody wasn't wearing their ring or something. They talk about rings and what's his name? Juan didn't have a ring on, I don't know if he wore his ring or not. And no, I guess not. And so Robin was like, well, he never wears his ring. And Juan, under his breath, he tells Robin, don't do that. And I'm thinking, is there like trouble in paradise? Y'all are about to get married. Y'all are newly engaged. Why is there this tension between y'all? What's going on? Because it started from the whole pandemic, the quarantine, when the kids were being homeschooled, and Robin would be sleeping in her bed, and the kids wouldn't even get the kids up to do their online classes. And Juan would get on her butt about that. You need to wake up and take care of these kids and make sure that they're attending their classes on time. And the way he would talk to her, I was like, why are you talking to her? What is going on between Juan and Robin? Like, what is the real deal there? Because there's like this tension between them. Moving on. So then we see Macy Gray. She's at the wed whatever at the event, and she's going to be singing for Karen and Ray. So the whole ceremony begins, and oh, speaking of the rings, Ashley did say that Michael does not wear his ring. She called it something because he's got some type of medical condition on his finger, so he can't wear his ring. And I'm just like, oh my God, Michael. I mean, Ashley, it's one thing when your husband, your philandering husband, lies to you and you believe it, but it's something completely different when you expect the rest of the world to believe it, because we don't. So then the whole event begins. Karen is led up the stairs to Ray. So Ray is waiting for her at the top of the stairs, and her son leads her up the stairs, and she's got on this dress, which I thought from the waist up, the dress was really beautiful. From the waist down, like the train of the dress and the skirt of the dress, the train was fine. The whole dress was beautiful. The whole dress was really, really beautiful. But what I didn't like about it, it's because to give it more volume, on the bottom, on the skirt part, it had like this, the hoops that they put underneath, to me, I'm gonna say costumes, to make them seem fuller, like, Gone with the Wind type of fullness, that those 18th century dresses that had really tight bodices, but really, full skirts. And they use those hoops to make it really fun. I didn't like that at all. It looked really, the bottom part to me looked very costumey because of those damn hoops underneath it. If it was just layer upon layer upon layer to give it that fullness, so that, when she held it up, because she had to hold it up to walk and to definitely go up those stairs, she had to hold up the skirt. And when she held it up, you can see the hoops. And I just didn't like that at all. I thought that was really very cheap looking. But the rest of the dress and the train itself, I thought was really pretty. And it was a beautiful cream colored gown. So she walks up the steps, and it took her like nearly 3 days to get up the stairs because the dress was tight. She had to walk really slow. She was wearing heels. She's got to somehow manage, the hoops and the skirt and all this stuff going on. So she's holding on to her son, and then she's got to try to figure out how she's going to move in this dress, and then she's got to get to the stairs and then go up the stairs. And it was a long flight of stairs. It wasn't just, whatever. It was a long flight of stairs. So, I mean, it took her a long time to finally get to the top to where Ray was waiting for her. And I thought that was kind of weird. I would think that either she would come down the stairs to meet him or he would go up the stairs to meet her, but not her struggling to get up the stairs in this hoopy dress. So they go up there, they do their whole vow renewal, whatever. It's really sweet. I liked it when Ray said that, 25 years ago he chose her to be his wife, and 25 years later he still chooses her. I thought that was really sweet. I don't remember what she said. So then the party gets started. Excuse me, Macy Gray, she performs. She's still the same Macy Gray from the 90s. I like Macy Gray. I like her unique voice, her raspy, raspy voice. So she just really takes me back to, back to the 90s. And so I thought she did wonderful. I thought she did great. And so then after all of that, Michael shows up. When he comes into the venue, no, before he even came into the venue, I guess he had texted his wife to say that he was there, because Ashley came running out to go greet him outside in the parking lot. And then when he comes inside, he says hi to everybody except for the obvious, Candace and Chris. All the guys are around him, greeting him or whatever. Definitely Juan is there to greet him, and he's introduced to Gordon. And I'm so glad that in this episode we didn't get hardly any Gordon at all. And so all the guys are around him, greeting him, whatever. And poor Chris, he's sitting in the corner by himself, away from the other little boys that don't want to play with him. And I thought it was really sad to see Chris just sitting there. So moving on from that. So I guess, oh yeah, and then Candace was talking to, I think she was talking to Ascala, because Ascala had mentioned, Ashley's husband's here. And Candace said, even though me and Ashley, we have our issues, I still think that Michael is not morally good enough for Ashley. Now we're having dinner. Dinner is served. So as we're sitting there eating, and the dinner looked good, the food looked really good. As we're all sitting there eating, it's kind of awkward. And I guess to break the awkwardness, Juan is like, okay, so we're going to squash this once and for all. And he's referring to the the beef between Michael and Chris, Candace's husband. And so Juan is like, we're going to, squash this. So Chris starts off by saying, look, I want us to put the past behind us. Whatever happened, happened. Let's just move forward. And then Michael is not receiving it very well. He's very, not trying to hear it. And he says something like, well, if you're going to apologize, just apologize. But don't expect me to apologize without you apologizing. And so as they're talking, Juan is like, I really can't hear what y'all are saying. So he gets up and he moves around the table to go sit right next to Michael. And so he can hear them better. So as they're talking or whatever, Robin says, oh, Michael has said something to Giselle, like, me and you, we had our issues, but we're still able to, civilly get along, and we can still have a conversation together. And Giselle is like, yeah, so, I want you to do the same with Chris. And then that's when he says something about, if you're going to apologize, apologize, be a man, and just apologize for what you did, for putting your hands on me. And that's what he wanted. He wanted Chris to say sorry to him for putting his hands on him. And Robin interjects and says, but Michael, you can't act like you had nothing to do with it. Like you did nothing wrong. And Michael is like, well, what did I do? And that's when your girl Candace had enough of that. And she grabs her purse and she's like, I'm out of here. I can't take this white privilege. I cannot take this white privilege a second more. And Michael is looking around like, what? What did she say? So she's out. She says she can't take the white privilege. And in her confessional, she says that she is sick and tired of Michael using his white privilege to buy people off, not take responsibility, manipulate people, control people, get out of situations that he's created. And she's sick and tired of it. And I see Michael as someone who is like that. I don't know if it's white privilege. It could be. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But it could also be money privilege. Because you have the money, because you have the means, you can pay people off, pay people to be silent, hire the best lawyers to get you out of really sticky situations, all of that stuff. So yeah, he is using either his white privilege or his wealth privilege to not be responsible for the crazy things that he's doing. So what else? So then Juan is like, I just want y'all just to, squash it. Just squash the beef and let's just move on. So because, his baby boy Juan tells him to kiss and make up with Chris, he goes ahead and he shakes Chris's hand. And he's like, you know what? Okay, bygones, let's let bygones be bygones or whatever. And so Michael and Chris shake hands. And then Michael and Chris shook hands, but Michael and Juan hugged. And then Chris was like, well, don't I get a hug? And Michael said, hell to the no. Mm-mm. My hugs are only for Juan. So, so Robin, as she's sitting there watching the whole event take place, people are dancing, having a good time. In her confessional, I think she was like, you know what, being at Karen's event makes me realize that I'm really not in a rush to get married. Me and Juan will get there at our own due time. She has no need. She doesn't feel any need to hurry up and get married to Juan or whatever. I don't know what she meant by that. I don't know if she feels like she's just not ready to marry him, or she just doesn't want to go through the whole hullabaloo of planning a wedding and the stress that goes into planning a wedding. So I don't know why she said that. Like, you've been together for 1,000 years, you have kids together, y'all have been married before. Just do something simple. It doesn't have to be okay, if you don't want to get married, that's fine as well. You don't have to get married. You don't have to get married at all. If it works for you and Juan to do what y'all are doing, fine. But what is the point of being engaged and having this big engagement event or ceremony or whatever they had last year and not get married? If you don't want to get married, fine. But why are you getting engaged? And if you are going to get married, it doesn't have to be anything big and grand. Just do something really simple in your backyard, or go to the courthouse, or go elope. Just do something simple. Just I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, they make it a big deal than what it actually is, because y'all are already a family. Y'all are already doing your thing with your kids and your family life, and you're living together. What's the big, do it in your living room, do the Britney Spears thing and get married in your living room in your jogging suits. I think that's what Britney Spears did. So all of a sudden, I think Michael said that he was going to leave, but he never actually left. But I think he told Ashley that he was going to get ready to go, because he can only have so much, he can only be around these people for so long. And then Juan tells Robin that he's about to leave and that his Uber is about to show up, and Robin is like, why are you leaving? And Juan says he's got to go to work. I'm like, huh? What? Now, this is my question about this. This was not discussed between Robin and Juan that he would end up leaving before her or without her. And why would you, you can't stay long enough to leave with your wife or for y'all to leave together. I didn't get that at all. I didn't get how she was so surprised. Now, maybe if you would have told her beforehand, look, I'm going to come to the event, but I'm going to have to leave a little bit early because, I have things scheduled. Fine. But she acted surprised. And so I didn't get why she acted so surprised about him leaving early. Like, why wouldn't he have mentioned that to her? Do these people not live together? It's so strange to me how these couples who supposedly live together never know what's going on with... Anyways, moving on. So, yeah, he says he's about to leave, and he actually did leave. And then we see Chris and Candace having a conversation. Oh, and by the way, when he was telling Robin that he had to leave, and they were having this conversation about him leaving, and Robin's asking him, where are you going? He says, I got to go to work. Michael, who's sitting across the table from them, is like staring at them like a hawk, okay? And it almost looked like he was trying to figure out if there was something wrong, if there was some type of problem between them, so that he could comfort Juan, hurry up and chase him outside and give him a shoulder to lean on. Or if he was hoping something was happening between them so that, he could... It just seemed weird how intently Michael was watching Robin and Juan. Like, he was just trying to really figure out, are they arguing? What are they talking about? What's going on over there? I mean, he had his eyes on them like a damn hawk. So while this is going on, Chris and Candace are, they're off somewhere by themselves. And Chris told Candace that her comment about the white privilege was a little bit over the top. And he told her, you don't necessarily have to say every single thought that crosses your mind. And Candace stood by what she said. She says, you don't understand. That man, and she used much more colorful language, that man has gotten away with so much because of him taking advantage of his white privilege. And Chris was like, I get that, but I need you to see the other side. I need you to look at it from another person's point of view. And then Candace didn't like how he talked to her because he got kind of loud. He was like, I get that, but I need you to see the other side. And, I guess Chris's whole thing is, let's stop beefing with these people. It's been going on for too long. Y'all want to be on this show. Everybody wants to be on this show because y'all are still on this show. And you cannot avoid coexisting with these people. You're going to have scenes with them because your mutual friends are going to invite everybody to these type of events. And you don't want to go somewhere knowing that, oh, these people that I'm beefing with, that I'm having an issue with, they're going to be there. Then you got to mentally prepare yourself to deal with people that you don't like. And it gets tiring. And sometimes it's just better to bury the damn hatchet and let's just move on and let's just be civil. We don't have to have sleepovers, but let's just be civil when we see each other. And I think that's really all that Chris wants, because it's so much energy to have to avoid people, because you can see in certain scenes where Candace and Ashley are standing next to each other but don't acknowledge each other. When they walk into a room, they'll greet everybody except one another. And that takes so much energy to avoid someone, because I think it's just easier just to be friendly. It's just easier to get along and to be civil. Like I said, you don't have to have a sleepover, but you can just, when you see each other, hello, hello, how are you? How are you? How are the kids? How's your husband? And then you go get something to drink and you move on, instead of going the extra mile to try to circumvent the room, try to figure out where can I go stand and who can I go stand with and who can I go talk to so I don't look weird all by myself because I refuse to interact with this particular person. It's just dumb and stupid. So that's what Chris was trying to get her to see. And Candace, and like when she holds a grudge, she holds on to it very near and dear to her heart. So she got upset that he was trying to knock some sense into her, and she left. And the whole time that they're, arguing, Ashley and her husband Michael, they're dancing the night away. They're having the best time of their lives together. And I'm like, okay, Candace, why are you allowing these people to affect your night with your husband? You and your husband can be on that dance floor, cutting a rug. But instead, you're arguing about them. And they're not even thinking about you. Candace, come on. Why do you let this Ashley Michael thing interfere with your personal life? Like, who? Just be done with it. And I think if she were to make that conscious decision to just not worry about their marriage and just try to be civil with Ashley, I think her and Ashley could get along really great. But who am I? So that was the end of that. And so, the little end notes that they put about what everybody's up to or what everybody did after the season wrapped. It said that Ashley, she wasn't happy about Michael's movie production business, and she wants to produce another baby with him. She wants to have baby number 3. I think she's going to try for that girl. Mia bought a new house with a special suite for her mother. So I guess her mom's going to be moving in with her. I don't know. Not moving in with her, but maybe like when she comes over to babysit the kids, she'll have her own little suite. So she's building a new house with Gordon, and she's working on her relationship with her mother. Giselle broke up with the man already, so that was like a 2-second relationship. Her and that dude broke up, whoever the hell he was and whatever the hell he did, but they're not together anymore. And she's trying to be more emotionally available. I don't see how. And but that's a work in progress, just like Hotel Giselle. So her home is still not finished. Wendy is working on her memoir. And she's also preparing the release of her candles, and they're not going to be just one-wick candles. Candace released her album, Deep Space, to great success. And if her music is anything like the single that she released, then it's probably going to be a really good album. Probably is a really good album, because that single that she released I think it's great. I think it's really, really good. I think it's a really good song. And I think that she can sing. And so she released her album to great success. Chris is still her husbandinger. And Chris and Dorothy are not speaking. So her husband and her mother are not really communicating very much. Robin finally moved into her new home, which is great. It's weird that she moved into her home before Giselle moved into her, or before Giselle's house was completed. No wedding date set, we know. And at the end of the episode, Robin was just looking, she was all by herself, scowling, just looking absolutely miserable because her man done left again. And she was just looking really, really miserable at the end of the episode. I hope everything is okay between her and Juan, because I would like to see them be at a better place. I like them as a couple. And then Karen, she's still ambassador to Surrey, and she did another Surrey video where she actually filmed it in Surrey. Who cares? So that is the end of the Real Housewives of Potomac season 13. Season what? Season 6. That is the end of that. And then next week we will do a reunion. Hopefully I will be able to take good enough notes to recap it. But if you made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you can, leave me a comment. I'll talk to you later.